And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I am so glad that you tuned in. We always want to thank our segment by thanking our sponsor. Thank you so much to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges for yourself or for your business, consider reaching out to any one of their trained professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and waiting for your call. They could be reached at 631-714-4822. And again, so excited for today's show because we are speaking to amazing women. It's a women empowerment segment. And my next guest in studio is Jennifer O'Brien with State Farm. How are you?
Good, Rhonda. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let's just dive right in. We're talking about women and women empowerment. Tell me about your journey as a female in the insurance industry.
Absolutely. Well, came into the insurance industry after going from the cosmetic industry for 12 years. So going from a super girly, feminine industry over to a more male-dominated industry. But what I did was took all my skill sets of what I learned from the beauty industry, and it was corporate, but it was all about relationships and making people feel good. And I brought that over to the insurance industry that I said, hey, if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do it different and make it all about family, relationships, community. And that kind of struck home and has brought us much success these past few years.
You know, I do see that you're out and about, right? We've met out and about before. Now, there are a lot of other insurance agencies that are out there. How are you separating yourself from not just other State Farms, but from other insurance companies?
Absolutely. What we're trying to do is make insurance fun. We're trying to make it approachable and non-intimidating. And that's why even on social media or marketing, when I put myself out there, it's really all about who I am. A mom of 3. I'm a worrywart. I understand that, protecting our children, protecting your assets, everything that you work so hard for really is most important at the end of the day. So we make it a topic where it's not all about, liability limits and comprehensive and, what happens if it's your worst possible day. We break it down so it's something that, hey, we can have a conversation about this, and we want to make sure that you're properly covered so we could talk about the what ifs, not the now whats.
I love that. And what happens too, and I think we even spoke about this off air. When you're speaking to somebody or you're going out to network and meet them for the first time, I don't say to somebody, oh, my name's Rhonda and this is what I do. Sometimes we try to find common denominator, right? Like what's that common root that makes you want to be my friend? Because we, and again, even one of my other guests, we have like what we call our friend circle. When you are networking, you're meeting a lot of people that you probably won't actually work with again, right? But they're familiar to you. But when you have a friend, you have an ally that wants to see you become successful. And they're happy for your success, right? So it's a little different. So where are you spending your time? Like how are you, not to give away your secrets, but like how are you growing your business and staying competitive?
Definitely. Well, networking is huge. They say your net worth is who you know. Yeah. It's all about networking. But you also have to put the work in that as well. So just like building relationships, it's not just meeting somebody once and exchanging a business card. It's building those relationships and those streams of business referrals. So you're continuously helping out your customers, whether if it's my clients and trying to give them to, if they need a lawyer, an accountant, mortgage, realtor. So it's building those circles of influence. And then in addition, really giving back to the community through fundraising events, through sitting on local boards, being present and being where people are and helping where people need help as well. You have to be everywhere nowadays. The market is so flooded and you can't just show up once. Same thing like these events. It needs to be continuous. People need to see you on the street fair, on the baseball fields, on social media. So it really is a full circle, but it's the ability to keep doing it every single day, because staying competitive, if you're not doing it, somebody else will, and you need to just keep going and keep grinding.
Which I love. So my next question is, how do you manage work-life balance? You know, you mentioned you're a mom of 3, and I'm exhausted listening to all the things you need to do to stay relevant. So how do you create that work-life balance?
I'm a big delegator. I also am a workaholic. So I think those who really know me would probably say I do not have a work-life balance. But I think that's something that's also a little bit unique to me, where I kind of, in a good or a bad way, have made work and my personal and professional really into one. No matter where I am, rocking State Farm. And even if people don't know that I do insurance, they look in the parking lot and like, is that your big face on your car? And I'm like, yes, it is. So just by showing, going to birthday parties, mingling with the parents, signing my kids up for a million activities, which yes, make me crazy, but all those things are expanding my circle of people who I know and people who get to know me for me. And then people want to do business with people they like, people that they trust as well.
And you just said a big word, which is the word trust. So if you were speaking to new women entrepreneurs, what advice do you give them for teaching them how people can trust who they are?
Yep. I think one is be yourself, be true. Don't try to be somebody that you're not, because people will like you for you. You need to be genuine. And also you have to be willing to help them. You can't lead with, okay, how could this person help me? It's no, how could I help you? And the more that you're able to help others, big believer in karma, the more that things just somehow come back to you in the form of business or in the form of, as you said, your core circle group of friends. You never know when and where you might need these people in your life. And it might not be just that day, but it might be later that evening, you're out to dinner and someone's like, hey, I'm thinking of putting my house on the market. Oh, I was just with an amazing realtor. So it's just about just keep going and stay true to your vision and also why you want to be different. I mean, there are a ton of people that look at my stuff and shake their heads, even I do of myself as well, especially my kids. They're my worst critics, but my crazy reels on Instagram or even on right here in Ronkonkoma, I have a billboard up at the train, or again, my big face on my car. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Do I want to be that person? Maybe not. But again, if I'm not doing it, and if you're not staying relevant and not staying in front of somebody, then you lose relevance. So I'm a big believer in you have to do things that others aren't willing to do. And that's the difference really of success. Are you really willing to put yourself out there outside of your comfort zone? But once you break that, then the sky's the limit and you keep going and going.
And you just hit on a good point, which is that, all of you women that I have on today are all successful, but we didn't get there without failure. Can you share maybe a story of failure and how you overcame that obstacle?
Absolutely. I mean, even going from the corporate cosmetic industry to insurance, it was a scary thing. Like, you're leaving your corporate job to do insurance? Like how? Like why? What? And I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it different. And I'm going to just keep working harder. So there's a lot of taking steps back to move forward. It's working, countless hours throughout the night. It's failing. It's, maybe not being the best boss at time. Managing team is one of the hardest pieces of my job. How do you, it's one thing for me to do it, but I can't duplicate myself. I have to be able to inspire and teach others as well. So yeah, I mean, I fail every day. Every hour is learning opportunities, and I'm extremely hard on myself. And that's one thing, it's almost like, never good enough, right? We hit here, now we have to hit here. Now we hit here, and we keep going up and up. So I think failure is one, failure sounds like harsh, like, oh, you failed, but I think it's more opportunity or seeing things, okay, like what's the challenge? And then, all right, how do we get around this? So I love sometimes even go create my own failures or challenges and ways in order to be able to step ahead.
It's absolutely necessary. So once again, you are listening to The Credit Authority, and we are speaking today with Jennifer O'Brien of the O'Brien Agency, State Farm, located in Smithtown. And Jen, if somebody wants to touch base with you, how do they reach you?
Sure, absolutely. You could call at 631-724-0002. Or you could check me out on social media at insurewithjen.com. Insure with Jen, and that's my website as well, insurewithjen.com.
You got it. Stay tuned. We're bringing on another guest.